Coach, I'm curious about what you've seen that Price Sanford has done over the last 10 games, basically since Owen went out, that's allowed him to kind of reach a new gear. He's averaging 10 points per game and he's plus 23. I believe he leads your team in plus minus over the course of those 10 games since you lost Owen.
Yeah, I mean he's been terrific. I mean he's been terrific all year. He can play multiple positions. He defends his position well. His rebounding the other day was elite. Shooting the ball really well, makes plays, makes great decisions. It's just great to watch him continue to develop. He's a really good player.
Mike.
Fran, there are a lot of teams that in your position Sunday would have maybe uh, not been so enthusiastic. Clearly, watching it on TV, it meant a great deal to them. Can you describe the feelings afterward?
You know what, Mike? They have been like that every game all year, and I think you've seen that as well. Clearly, more at stake with that particular game, uh, for obvious reason. But I mean, they were locked in. But I've been proud of them all year in that regard. But when you work as hard as they have and continue to fight and compete, and then beat a really good team on the road, it's a great feeling. So in the locker room, and you saw it spill onto the floor a little bit, they were really excited and looking forward to the next challenge Wednesday.
Tom.
And you were pretty praiseful of Lajay after the game. What have you seen in his development taking over for Owen in that spot? It was a tough spot for him to jump into.
Yeah, he's a tough kid, and he's smart, and he works. He's physical. His defense and rebounding coming down the stretch were really special. Made a big hoop. Uh, Made a really good play out of the short roll in the first half. He just keeps getting better. I'm really proud of him, and not surprised because he's just a special young guy.
David.
Yeah, Fran, it just seems like Bruce Thornton has gotten better year over year. I mean, he's shooting the three ball incredibly efficient this year. I guess what have you kind of seen from him over the last couple of years that's allowed him not to break out, quote unquote, but just how he's just steadily improved?
Yeah, he's a guy that from the beginning. I mean, he was one of the best players in our league. Didn't play like a freshman when he was a freshman. Started from day one. Uh, Tough guy, smart, versatile, plays both ends, and I think leads in a very positive way. And when you have a guy like that, it's a game changer for everybody else. So I mean, he just has a real good ability to engineer victory with his intellect and his toughness. And I think anybody that plays them obviously has to focus a lot on him.
Tyler.
Hi, Fran. Didn't think about asking this after the game, but when Jawan Gary was obviously very emotional coming off the floor, but to see your guys, kind of embrace him and in a, effort of sportsmanship, I guess just what was kind of going through your mind when you saw that happen?
You know what, Tyler? Just proud of him. It's competition is fierce. Uh, Both teams knew what was at stake. Everybody knows the emotion that goes into your last game at home. There's a guy who's really been a good player his whole career, but was hurt last year. Came back and had a spectacular senior year. And it all comes to an end. And it's been an incredible journey for him. So, yeah, we're going to compete. We're really going to challenge each other in every way possible on the floor, but there's going to be a mutual respect there. We respect their program. I respect Fred. I've known him a long time. We've had great games against them. We won this year, but we have lost. But it's all about the competition. It's all about the journey, and I was just proud of the guys for how that all unfolded, and it speaks to the character of this team.
Todd?
Yeah, Fran, as you look back at the regular season matchup against Ohio State, what do you have to do better tomorrow?
Yeah, real simple. We had a stretch where we had good shots and they didn't go in. And we shot it pretty well most of the rest of the game. And when you do that, you got to get stops. And it's hard sometimes because if you miss 4 or 5 possessions in a row, they might run it on you and get some easy baskets or some open threes. And that's when it got away from us a little bit. We didn't shore up our defense when the offense was not making shots. So we've got to make sure we consistently move the ball, get good shots, get our defense back.
Mike?
The last time one of your teams played in Indianapolis was obviously a great day for the program. What are the lasting images or memories you have from those 4 days?
That was a special team in terms of versatility, intellect, and toughness. Special group to be a part of, but incredibly professional approach, Mike. I mean, just locked in. Win 4 games in 4 days against 4 really good teams. Beating 2 teams from Indiana. Had leads, lost leads, came back, and closed out games. That team was really good at that. Bohannon and Connor in particular with Keegan. You think about the guys on that team, Philip and Chris. I think back to that team and how special they were together. Joe Toussaint was great. And everybody contributed. I think Joshua Gundele was terrific in the championship game. It's just Peyton Sanford was huge. He was only a freshman, and he was so good. It was fun to watch him develop there. And that's, I think, your hope as a coach is to get a team that knows and understands that. How to stay together, how to stay in the fight when things are going, the other team's on a run or we're on a run. How do you manage the clock? How do you manage the game? Do you understand the anatomy of the game? You've heard me say that a lot. And those guys understood that extremely well.
All right, 2 more questions, Coach. First is Tom Kakert.
And I think I know the answer to this, but I know you were going into this planning on 5-5 and getting the NCAA tournament. But in the event that doesn't happen, do you guys anticipate playing in one of the 2 postseason tournaments? And do you know what that selection process is like now with the Crown in that mix?
Yeah, I would expect us to be playing for sure. And I don't know that I can answer that question specifically, Tom. But I would expect us to be playing.
All right, final question, Coach. Tyler?
This is just a more general basketball question, but as someone who is a respected, offensive mind, what do you, from an X's and O's standpoint, what makes good actions offensively?
Well, there's a number of things, starting with 5 players who are committed to winning and understanding that we're going to try to move the ball effectively to score. It's not about me, it's about us. All right, so that's number 1. Do you have unselfish guys that have one goal in mind? Is that how can we score? All right, the second is you have to have feel and understanding, because teams play defense a certain way. They might change throughout the course of the game, how they play in ball screens, how they play in dribble handoffs. Are they over at the midpoint? Are they up, X on the O, deny? Are they doubling the post? Are they not doubling the post? And these are things that guys have to be able to read in real time and then make accurate decisions as to whether or not I'm going to drive it, shoot it, pass it, move it. Do we have an advantage because they switched and now you got a 6'11" guy, guarding a small guy that can take him off the bounce? You have a matchup that you like just generally? Are we running sets? Are we running motion? Can we score in transition? And then goes back to what I said before, the anatomy of the game. Sometimes you run, but sometimes you need longer possessions. It's having guys that understand all of that at the same time. There's always action away from the ball. Are you reading the action? Are they switching? Can we slip? Can I keep it? And a lot of coaches, quite honestly, will run set plays to try to micromanage each possession. As you know, you guys that know me, I trust my guys to make reads and decisions in transition or in half court. And I feel it's now we'll run plays, we do, but a lot of times, I think it's putting 5 guys out there who understand how to play more so than what plays we're running.